So, who have we got next for your delectation? We've got Fiona Robertson, and the lady with all the dragon eyes behind her at the moment, which look amazing. So, who is Fiona? So, I'll read a little bit about her. She's known as the Dragon Messenger. She's receiving guidance and messages from 8 dragons, and that's for the evolution of us, so we can all ascend with ease and grace, which sounds beautiful. And for over a decade, she has called in an evolved way of living intuitively, following the dragon way, which sounds quite amazing. And today, she's going to be talking to us about cosmic parents. Well, that's where this topic will start. And who knows, like with all these things, if the dragons come in and they might completely take us in a different direction, or whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be beautiful. So, all the way from France, it's Fiona Robertson. So, welcome, Fiona. I hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Kevin. And thank you so much, Jason. Very nice to meet you. And actually, it's very nice to meet so many people who are part of this dragon family. For years and years, I felt very much on my own talking about dragons, seeing dragons, speaking to dragons, and getting messages from the dragons. And I saw something that just popped up in front of me, and it was about Kevin's summit that he was doing this year. And I said, I want to be on that. And I think I got the last place at the time, and then Kevin just kept expanding it, and so more and more people came in. So it's so nice to meet people who know that dragons are real and know that the energy of the dragons is here to do something quite phenomenal. I'm sure we can all say that we know that this is a very special time, that we're all here for a reason. We know why we're here, that things are changing on the planet. It's as big as before and after the dinosaurs were and weren't here, or the planet was flat and now it's round. It's that big where we're going now. So Jason opened us the whole part up to the fact that we're feeling beings, not just the dragons, but we humans as well. And the dragons that I communicate with, they're all about evolving you into using your feelings rather than using your words. Words are Neanderthal as far as they're concerned. It's all about feeling your way forwards. So we are moving into a different time, and I've seen a vision of what it looks like in the future. And I laugh because I say my children's children, they look kind of different to how we look. They don't hang on to the stuff like we hang on to. It doesn't create form in our bodies. It doesn't create form in the physical problems that we have, because they've learned how to let things go. Even looking at my kids, when they used to argue, I'd still be oh my god, I've got to fix this, but I don't know what to do. They'd already let it go. They just, each generation has an ability to just be more evolved than the last. I mean, obviously we know that, and it's not very many people that I talk to about dragons and things, but I came up through Reiki, and I came up through doing detox, seriously long detoxes. It was the dragons that put me in touch with doing that from Thailand, and then led me to running that as a business when I moved to France, because I didn't speak French. And from that, I do believe that it's just opened me up, opened up the pineal gland, opened up so many things for me. Like, where else can you go on this planet when you've done a detox? You're already in the cosmic, you're already in the galaxies, there's nowhere else to go. So that's how I believe that the dragons came in for me. They came in through meditations and things like that as well. But their message today, I've specifically asked them today what their message is all about, knowing that it was the topic of being a cosmic parent. So the dragons that I speak to are your cosmic parents. Even if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, it doesn't matter. We all still need a parent. We all still need someone to sort of take us through the tough and the rough stuff. And these dragons that I speak to, these 8 cosmic dragons, I mean, there are more, but this is their particular purpose, is to navigate us through when we don't know what we're doing, when we don't know how to make a choice, we don't know where we're going, how to make a decision, we don't know how to get out of this particular situation. And this is where the dragons come in, and they're able to just point you one step forward, or remind you who you are as a soul, remind you who you are as a spirit. The whole point of their evolution explanation, the way that it comes through, is to bring you home to you, to bring you home to your phenomenally strong self on the inside, and know that you are safe and know that you are loved. And if we have time later on, maybe I can sort of take you on a little bit of a journey, but it's more that you really need to know how much the dragons love you. You can sort of experience with like how someone else loves you. You can feel into how much your soul loves you. But when you feel how much the dragons love you for being here and understanding and talking to the dragons, it makes you choke. It's kind of like, oh my God, that much love, really? And they can only show you the capacity as you're able to handle, because your heart would just like explode if you were able to sort of like take the immense amount of love and respect, and they cherish you so much for doing what you're doing. The best way that I can explain what it is like to have a cosmic parent is just some of the little stories that things happen that when I invoke the dragons, when I ask the dragons to help me out with something. So this happened years ago, before I even knew that it was the dragons doing it. But I've always felt protected. I've always felt I could drive really fast with my eyes tight shut, and there was nothing that was going to happen to me. I was here to do something, and I was here to sort of, I didn't even know what, but I just knew that I was safe, and I knew that, you know, this was what, you know, I was here to do something. And the dragons say that they're actually the voices of God as well, because you need to understand that there's so much more power in you. One of the first messages that came through to me from the golden dragon that I speak to, called Serafina, is you have no idea how powerful you are. Meaning that when you put your mind to it, when you get really clear about what it is that you want, you can create magic. You can make things happen. So years and years and years ago, when I was driving and I was selling video cameras and video monitors, when I was in the UK and I was driving up and down the motorways all day long, it used to really irritate me that I was sort of stuck in traffic. And it just came to me to like, well, just tell them that you're sitting behind them in the car behind them, and please can they move out of the way? So I started doing it. And I started realizing that the cars, at the first opportunity that they got, they would get out of my way. So I'm just a very playful nature, and I don't believe in being told that something is not possible. So I just carry on playing. And this is the invitation for you to carry on playing in any way that you see fit. If you think it's possible, then it is possible. That's what the dragons want you to know. So that's how powerful you are. So even this last weekend, we were driving somewhere. My partner was driving, and we were stuck in the traffic. And you know, he gets angry that everybody's sitting in the middle lane and nobody's using the lanes that they should be using. And I'm just like, okay, we're sitting in the car behind you, and it would be really nice if you could just move over. And they just moved over. And he said, "Did you just do that?" And I went, "Well, I just asked, you know." So I'm talking about how you use dragons in a very practical sense, and they're here to help us through the practical stuff. They're here to help us navigate through things on earth. What they say to me is, this has never been done before. That you are driving a car and you're to be a spiritual person, to be invoking in spirits, you know, that you are to be raising your kids, and you're to be doing it in a very spiritual way. It's not all about education. It's not all about numbers. It's all about writing. It's not all about the stuff that we're taught. You know, this is massively expanded stuff, like, so that they know that they've got a soul, that they know that they can, you know, tap into the spirit world as well. So we are moving into a different era, as we all know, but we don't necessarily know what that means, what that brings about. I know we can all do magic. I mean, my kids do certain things, and I have to ask them, how did you do that? Because they just believe in a different way. If they've seen it written in a book, they're going to go, well, why can't I do that? Which is exactly how I work as well. So like, if I've heard about it, or if I've seen it, then I'll try it out, you know, sitting behind a car, getting it to move out of the way. So yeah, so that happened the other weekend as well when I was driving. So it's just something that you just carry on using, and it's just very practical. And what else is it that you would like to do? So one of the other stories I have is I live in France. I moved to France because I was guided to come and live in France. I'd written this story about, God, what would I like? What would I like out of life, you know? And I'd already been told to sell my company, which was, you know, turning over $1 million. Sell your company in the UK. And I'm like, what? And then I went traveling around the world with a rucksack, and I was a girl with high heels, hairspray, and all the rest of it. Like, I don't go traveling. I don't go pitching a tent on an anthill. Anyway, after all of that, a year, I ended up moving to France, or looking in France to sort of see where it would feel good to come and live. And I ended up living, or choosing to live, in this particular village. And it wasn't until afterwards that I found that this village was the center of the sort of the Inquisition, where lots and lots, about 600 witches were burnt in 1609, something like that. So I'm like, oh, that's why I'm back here then. There's so many coincidences and so many things that happened. I just went, well, it can't all be just chance, you know. There's got to be a lot of things going on. So I'm in France. I didn't speak any French apart from school French, which is pretty rubbish, to be perfectly honest. And when I was learning my French in school, I kind of went, well, what's the point? I'm never going to live there, so I don't really need to. Anyway, I end up living in France. And when you have a social event, it's, you know, everybody's talking at their own speed. Everybody's doing their own thing. And then, you know, they're not looking at the girl who doesn't kind of get so much with what's going on, or the speed. So we had an invitation to go and visit some friends. And I was like, wow, what I can do about this. I mean, I've been living here for years at the time, and I had a certain understanding of French. I was like, okay, I wonder if I can call in a French dragon. And to me, I was like, oh, that's bizarre. But yeah, why not? Why can't I? If I can do other things, why can't I call in a dragon that's specifically going to help me understand and speak French? Ouvre les portes is yeah, exactly. I didn't think moving to France would be, you know, I didn't really think I would get past saying bonjour or je voudrais un croissant. You know, that's not going to get me a job. That's not going to get me by anywhere. Like, so we're having this afternoon, long. If you know anything about French evenings and socializing, it's long. You know, the dinners are long. And there's a lot of conversation, a lot of to and froing. And I called in this French dragon. I said, I need help being able to sort of communicate, to talk, to understand what's going on. And this dragon turned up, and she decides she wants me to call her Sophie or Sophia. And I was like, okay. So I spent the afternoon with my friends, or my partner's friends, and I communicated fine. I'm better in small groups. Wasn't a great groups. There's no great big, you know, noise going on in the background. And I just carried on normally. I just had a normal conversation to the best of my ability, but I was understood, and I took part in the conversations when it was the four of us, and it lasted all day. Driving home, my partner said to me, what's going on? What's happening? He said, I'm really proud of you. You took part and you like communicated all day. And I went, yep. I said, do you want to know why? Do you want to know how? And he said, go on then. And I said, well, it was a French dragon. I called in a French dragon. Of course, it just like goes over the top of his head. Doesn't necessarily realize that that's what I'm doing, and that's what I do. So I'm really here to help you understand that with all the dragons that I speak to, they really want to navigate you through anything that's going on in your life, to bring you back home, to remember that you have the capacity to do any of this. And I just tell the stories because I just think they're fun. I just think it's great to be able to do certain things. So that's what my dragons are all about. They are your cosmic parents. If you are heartbroken, or if you have something going on in your life and you want to turn that around, if you want to turn a relationship around, for example, they laugh at me if I ever get complaining about my partner, or complaining about, I live in a house with four teenage boys, two of my partners. But when I decided to create my partner, not only would he be French, but he would speak Spanish, and he would speak very good English. So I put my whole creation out there into the universe. So we have these 4 boys in the house. I decided that I wanted to be able to create a house, for example, a house for all of us. On a very practical basis, my partner and I discussed, well, what is it that we would like? What is the story on our head of what it is that we would like? Don't just like look for a house and accept what you get. The dress is what the dragons say. What is it that you would like the most? What is it that you want? So said, well, it would be we need 5 bedrooms. We'd be really nice if we had a kind of like a section that we have our own bathroom, our own bedroom, and my office. The boys would be really nice if they could all be on the top floor and they've got their own bathroom and they can just take care of themselves. So this is all very practical basis. But we also said we'd like it to be in a dead-end street. We'd like it to be in this particular town, and we'd like to pay that much money. I would like to be able to cycle to the beach. My partner said he would like to have a big garage so that he could do his motorcycle hobby. I also said I'd like a studio, maybe a second studio, so that I can still carry on doing the retreats that I do for Detox With Your Soul. Once we put that out there, it was great. We said, well, we're happy to renovate a house. We're happy to sort of make it painted and make it pretty, because my partner's good at that. We like doing things like that together. And then after a while, I just decided I don't want to renovate a house. I just want to move into a house that's already painted, that's already ready to go. It'll accept us, no problem whatsoever. Within 3 days, we found this house, 5 bedrooms, flat garden on a dead-end street, big garage for my partner's motorcycle hobby, my office, the separate area for us, a big open plan kitchen, living room, everything else. All the boys were upstairs on their own level. So what the dragons have taught me as I keep going along and evolving with the dragons is you don't need to stop asking. You don't need to stop at any point when you think, oh no, that's not possible, that's too much. Nothing's too much on a very practical level. They just want to know what you want. They just want to know what makes you happy. They just want to know what this is all about. Why not go for something that you want rather than hold yourself back? So we moved into this house, and it was all painted and it was all decorated, and it was just all how we wanted it to be. We ended up renting it out for the summer to recoup some of the money. It was all, everything that we wanted appeared. Now you can call in manifestation, you can call in law of attraction, you can call in all of that, but the main thing that I do that makes things different for myself and my clients when I speak to them is we bring in the feeling. So the story that I was telling on the inside of my head was what it was like to live in this house with all my heart. What are the kind of things that we're doing? What do the Christmases look like? What are the birthdays look like? What is it like? What is it like when we all work in the garden together? When we've got a big project, we're getting these teenage boys all involved in the big projects that we've got in the garden. So for me, what the dragons have taught me more than anything else, and it goes back to what Jason said earlier on, is coming from the heart. But it means, what is the feeling that you want to feel when something is actually arriving? When you've magically imagined what is possible, whether it's just fantasy make-believe or whether it's, this house could have been fantasy make-believe. And I've just done this so many times. I've sold houses, I've bought houses, created my partner. Now you could say this is all creating a new reality, but it's the dragons that have shown me to bring your feelings into it. What they want us to understand as well is we can flip out of the bad feelings. We can choose what we choose to feel. So for example, you could choose that instead of being stressed, you could feel relaxed. So Jason intimated earlier on that we can change our feelings, and we can. And I see that as kind of like it's a figure of 8. It just kind of comes in and it goes out. There are no such thing as good and bad feelings. If a bad feeling comes up, it's just something that's getting ready for you up to the surface, getting to skin level, and you'll feel it again. It's like, what's going on here? Why am I feeling so irritated? It's like, it's a sign. That's your divine guidance that's saying, it's ready for you to let go of that. Remember what I said at the beginning? The next generation, the next generation, the next generation, they just don't hold on to all the crap that we hold on to. They don't have all those stories in their head about how badly they were treated or why they didn't get that. They just kind of like, all right, okay, I'll ride it out. It'll be better tomorrow. And it usually is. And this is what my dragons are here to teach. They're here to teach you the messages of the ways of the dragon. And every single time you fall out of that, I was starting to tell you earlier on, if I get into complaining about my partner, complaining that things aren't working, the voice comes into my head that says, that is such a human reaction. Remember who you are. Remember who you are as a spirit and stop complaining. But we're all human and we all get our knickers in a twist. Let's just put it that way. We all get furled up in jobs, in money, in relationships, in our health, and everything else. But we just haven't spent the time asking for what we want, or showing what it is that we want, or feeling what it is that we want. One of the things that the dragons showed me was that the more you think about something, it creates form. So the more you think about something, it creates something within your physical structure, but it can also create things on the outside of you as well, to do with your finances, to do with your relationships, to do with your home or anything else. So this is basically what they're teaching. Now, I know that I have got rid of certain things from my body, not because of just detoxing, but detoxing what I was thinking. So the boys and I, father, divorced, separated, whatever. So we arrived in France together, really didn't work out after 10 years. But when I was single, choosing to be a single mum of my two boys, I went into such fear and I went into such panic. And I believed that he had a responsibility. So hear me out here, hear my story, hear where I'm going. So I was happy throwing daggers at him, throwing darts at him, blaming everything on him. What happened to me is because of what I was thinking, it created form on my body. I had such bad sciatica. Not only was I having sciatica and no osteopath, nobody could click or twist or do whatever. And I was lying on the osteopath's table just going, the only one who can fix this is me. I need to tell a different story. It took me a while, because when you tell a different story, that means you have to start saying nice things about the person you've been happily throwing daggers at for a little while. So I changed the story in my head, much the same as I did when I was looking for a house. Changed the story in my head. He's a nice guy. He's a very good dad. He's very responsible. He's very generous. Even if it was slightly, difficult to say those kind of things, I was saying them. I repeated saying them. I made a recording of myself saying them. So when I was in the car, I could actually listen to it. I carried on with this until I could just feel the relief within my body that I began to believe it. I was like, yeah, that would be awesome. That is awesome. He is this kind of person. I know it because that's what he was like in the beginning. Within a week, my sciatica had gone. So I changed the form, the way that form was hanging on my body. The only time the sciatica came back was a year or two later. Now, I met a girl who came to do some admin and things for me, and she was in a similar sort of situation. She was throwing daggers at her ex. And she said, well, why are you here? Why are you a single mum? Why is this all going on for you? And I went, I don't really want to tell the whole story. I'll just tell a snippet. That afternoon, I got sciatica again, and I couldn't move out of my chair. And I was just being reminded, change the story, Fiona. You have the power within you to change your own story. The dragons want you to be wholly connected to yourself, and in your own story. And this is your sovereignty. This is sovereign. So look, which way am I? Purple. This is sovereign. Sovereign is when you feel regal, when you feel powerful, when you feel strong. And I tell you, when you zoom into her energy, you feel really centered, you feel really strong. And her whole purpose is that you feel phenomenally strong. You build a phenomenally strong relationship with yourself as a soul. And then nobody's criticism, nobody's judgment, nobody's bad behavior will ever have the same effect on you ever again, because you're able to stand in your own energy and kind of go, I don't believe what you're saying. I'm not affected by that. It's almost like when you're so in love with someone, a bomb could go off and you wouldn't leave your bubble because it just wouldn't have any effect on you, because you're like, I'm so in love. Nothing's gonna take me out of this space. So this is what sovereign is all about. Now, they all have a particular theme as they go along. So let me just introduce you to them one by one. And I'll give you a little bit of an intro as to how they feel as well. So as I say their name and as I give you an intro to them, just feel if you can feel them, because they want you more than anything to understand the revolution of feelings. Your feelings are important. And if you have a feeling that you don't like, it's either something that's coming to the surface that's about to leave, or it's something for you to understand, okay, I don't need to respond like this anymore. And if you're able to, you can speak to the dragon, speak to your soul, and you say, is this something for me to understand? And you might get your reaction might be no. So if I get my no reaction in my body sways, my body will go, nope, nothing to do with you. Or I can get a reaction, go, yep, you kind of need to know where this is coming from and just let it go. And then I'll do a whole exercise of letting it go, like the energy of it. Like the dragon said to call it an exorcism, and I went, oh, it's not probably the best word to call it. So we call it an elimination or whatever, or an ejection. So here are we. Now this is Sovereign. Sovereign was the first dragon that came through to me, a massive, big golden dragon. All the messages that she has are about your big picture. She just wants to know, what do you want? Don't leave it to chance. Don't be lazy. Tell them what you want. So in the morning, or if it's something during the day, like situation's coming up. Now, what do I want out of this situation? What do I want to feel? I've got a funny story about that. I was going to some ecstatic dancing here in France, which is great because you don't speak to anyone. Everybody's just in their own space doing their own thing. So I'm like, don't need to have a long conversation. I just do my own thing. So I'm driving there, just going, oh, right, okay, what do I want from this evening? I want thumping music. I want brilliant tracks. I want to really, really enjoy dancing and just let it all go, shake it all loose. Then I would really like to be able to have a conversation with someone in English, somebody who gets me, somebody who understands the level that I'm on. And if the music is so awesome, I want to be able to have a recording of that to take home, or at least be able to access. So I go to my ecstatic dance with this in the back of my head, forget all about it, start dancing. The evening's finishing. We all say, the thank yous and all the rest of it. And I go and talk to the DJ. I realise she's from Holland. Oh, she must speak English. And I'm thinking when I'm talking to her, oh my God, I'm having a conversation with somebody in English. She's on the same level as me. She's done some amazing tracks. So I asked her, do you have a recording of this? And she went, oh yeah, I normally put them on SoundCloud. I was like, oh, I really like it. I really, really, really like it. So I got, just by setting up, even in a drive to go somewhere, how that would work. We have Tara here, who's the blue sea dragon. She's a wingless dragon. She's a sea dragon. But she came to me one day when I was sitting on the beach. And her whole message is about flipping your perspective, choosing something else. If you don't like what's going on, what do you choose instead? What do you want to feel instead? So that's her message. And she came to me when I was on the beach. I was doing a reading for someone's business. I was doing a psychic reading. I was listening into what their business wanted to say to them. And she was kind of just behind me, off to one side, and I just had this image of her, and the feeling was just just like, well, just choose something different. I mean, that's basically what she said, just choose something different. Just like, just flip out of your resistance, like choose something different. And there was a dog on the other side of the beach going absolutely crazy, desperate to get over. At the end, he broke his leash, he came over, and he's rolling over, and he's having so much fun. And the owner's like, oh, Desolé, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, it's okay. I know exactly why the dog's here. This is what happens when you're in the energy of the dragons as well. Like certain things will kind of happen if you let the dragons in. Raphael here is a silver dragon, massive silver dragon. He is like your favorite old professor. You can imagine him, silver-haired, glasses on the end of his nose. The patience in this dragon is just incredible. I don't care what you know. I want more detail. I want more detail woven in. Show me exactly what it is that you want. Weave more detail in. Show me with your senses. Show me how it feels. So he helps you to kind of, whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're imagining, whatever it is that you want to create in this world, please give him more detail. He wants more detail. Luna Ray, this one here, she's a pearlescent, again, a wingless dragon. She feels like a snake when you touch her. She's very soft, pearlescent, kind of white. She flip-flops, the colors kind of change. Her whole purpose is to help you how to feel. She'll always start with the introduction of how to feel the good things, how to feel love, how to feel bliss, how to feel joy, how to feel ecstatic, how to just keep expanding your feelings. So she just wants to allow you to feel safe to feel. Did you feel that? What does it feel like? Where do you feel it inside your body? Can you feel that? So she's always just kind of asking you, how does that feel? Not in the old counselor way, like, how does that feel? But she really wants to know where it lands in your body. So you'll be able to feel it within your body. Like when you're in the company of someone and it doesn't resonate, you can feel it. Or when the company of someone and it really resonates, you can feel it. You can feel if somebody's telling the truth, or you can feel if somebody's telling a lie. You can feel somebody's intention just by feeling what the energy feels like from that person. I've taught my sons how to do this with people and friends that they thought were friends, and they did them in wrong. Then we have Sovereign, who I've introduced you to very briefly before. Sovereign is all about feeling your inner core, feeling really powerful. You just can't help but sit up straight when you're in that sovereign energy, and it's your own energy. It's just coming from all of you. You are connected up to the heavens and down to the earth. You are connected on this thread, which is like a harp string that keeps you tethered and keeps you safe and keeps you supported. You have to know you are always supported. There's always support for you. And this is what Sovereign wants you to know. We're going to hop over to this side. We're going to hop over to Bloom. Bloom came to me from behind a huge camellia bush. So that's why she's pink, and she kind of like is fluffy and powerful and full of blossom. And her whole message is playfulness. So Jason mentioned playfulness earlier on. They just want you to be playful. Do stop being so serious. It's time to be silly. It's time to sort of use your imagination. It's time to sort of, oh, what would be better than that? Bloom is the dragon that most people love because it really allows you to kind of realize that you can be unapologetic. You can be bigger than life itself. You can be eccentric. You can be playful. You can, well, all of those words. You can play hooky from school. You can play hooky from work. You don't have to do the dishes. It's just whatever you find that it just makes things more enjoyable for you. This is Bloom's energy. Then we have Ceremony. Ceremony is the colors of a rainbow. And Ceremony wants to take you under the rainbow to help you get rid of all the stuff that's not working for you, just to shed all the stuff that just hasn't worked for you so far, all the thoughts that you've got that aren't working, all the old ways of doing things that we've just become so used to doing. we probably don't even know there's another way to do anything, because we're so used to doing things in the old way. The old kind of relationships that always pop up. Why do those old relationships always pop up? Because we've got something to grow from. We've got something to move out of. Ceremony wants you to celebrate. Ceremony wants you to understand that once you come under the rainbow, you're at the edge of the rainbow, and then whoop, there we fly. We fly into utopia. Utopia is the dragon that never ever lands back on the earth in the same way again. Utopia only kind of hovers. You never really land on the earth again. You never go into the dramas. You never go into the who wronged you. You never go into all those conversations and attract those same kind of relationships and problems and things again, because you've already let go of so much of that. So utopia never really comes back down onto this earth in the same way again. You're of this world, but not from this world. That's what she wants you to know. Those are my 8 cosmic dragons. They are your cosmic parents. Anytime you want support, no matter how old or how young you are, they are there for you. They are totally and utterly your cosmic parents. Sometimes we just have to know we need to let go of something, like the story I was telling about my ex, or the story I had years ago about my mom, or the story, all these stories that we have. Sometimes it's just like, the only person I'm hurting is me. So I'm going to tell a different story. I'm going to let that story go. And that's all the dragons are asking you to do. All the messages that they gave me when I had my interviews with Serafina, I just months and months of in meditation, talking to Serafina, and she was just downloading all this stuff. And I got them transcribed. And then I was told, you need to make these into cards. You need to make these into dragon cards, into messages, so that people can actually pick these up and be reminded, oh yeah, I'm telling a wrong story. Or can you see the energy of what you're creating? Can you just see it as a color? So if a bad energy was brown and a good energy was white or yellow or something, can you just see the different frequencies of energy as a color? And then once you see it as a color, you can kind of go, well, it's just a color. It doesn't hurt me. It can't harm me. I choose the energy that I want to be in. So the cards, the messages that came through for the way of the dragon, they're just to help you remember, because you're a human, and even you and I and everybody, every now and again we fall, we get something happening, we get into the drama, we get confused about something, we forget. It seems to be like when we came into earth, we forget who we are. We forget that even though I know the power that I have to create things, sometimes I completely forget that I can do it. So we need to be reminded every now and again of that's what is possible for us. Okay, you pull Raphael a lot. Cool. Lots of detail then. When I started using these messages myself in these cards, and I throw these cards out in my group, I do a reading for them. It's amazing how many times the same cards come up. It's just like, you're stuck. Get past it. Deal with it, or grow up already. Just stop dealing with it. The dragons just want you to know that there's so much more available for you. What other stories did they give me this morning that would be nice? Oh yeah, so I think it was the beginning of COVID, and I was a little bit disgruntled that my kids and my partner, they were staying at home and not doing very much, and I was on the internet. I was doing my work on the internet, so nothing really changed for me. And I was like, I want to take a long break as well. I want to have a retreat. So I decided that the next day, okay, that's it. Tomorrow I'm not going to do anything. See if you like that. I'm going to not do anything tomorrow. And so sitting in my office, but not on my office chair, I just sat in my, just a habit to come into the office. sat on the settee, and I just asked the question. So the information comes back when you know how to ask the questions, when you are very specific about the question. So I was saying, okay, well, I don't like that, you know, things don't seem to be changing much for me, and I'm just still doing the same thing, and kind of it's a bit boring now. So, right, what's my question? My question is, what do you want? What do you want from me? Well, where am I going with this? What's going on? And then I heard, write your book, write your book, write your book. So I get these messages in an auditory way. I also feel them. But then when I was doing the interviews with the dragon, with Serafina, it was the vibration. I didn't understand what I was doing. I just knew what she was saying. And I had to sort of, you know, almost transcribe what she was saying, the images that I was being given, the language that I was being given, as it kind of resonated through my body. I understood what the message was. So very similar to living in a country where you don't speak the language, but you understand what people are saying. You understand through the tone, you understand through the body language, but you understand through their intention to give you directions. It's like, oh, this guy, this guy. It's like, I get the image. You get the image in your mind. You understand how to use that information that's coming through, and all of us can do that. All of us can do that. And this is what the dragons, these cosmic parents, they're just saying, remember who you are. Remember how powerful you are. But just tell us what you want. Tell a different story in the inside of your head. And I've got so many stories of how they've come through in remarkable ways. Not only, you know, changing my story and having something physically change in my body. Last year we had built a wall in the garden. It was like the top of a studio that we'd just built. And it was the hottest weekend. And we had to plaster the walls. And I'm like, oh, this is just going to be awful. How on earth can I do this? How can I stand? My head is going to explode unless I'm in the shade. And I was like, how can I do this? Dragons, please show me how I can do this. And the message was coming through that in a previous life, you might have been an Egyptian. You might have lived and worked in very, very hot situations. So why don't you just bring that part of your soul back? Why don't you just remember that part of your life and act accordingly? And as I was, and I didn't want to burn my skin. I didn't want my head to spin as it does when you get really, really hot. And I still had to do a very physical job, like plastering a wall, you know, leaning over the wall and bringing the plaster up and mixing the plaster and putting it on the wall. I got through that day and the next day, which was equally as hot, just by doing what I've been shown. Like, yeah, okay, well, I've lived a life as an Egyptian, I'm sure I have. So, or in Africa, where I also grew up as a kid, like, I know what hot is and I know how to handle the heat. So I can change that within my body. Is all this making sense? It's just amazing some of the things that you can do, and that there are people out there that kind of like change their eyesight, they do all kind of stuff, and of course we're just playing with this, we're just allowing ourselves like, oh, what is not working for me, what would I like instead? One of my youngest sons, he was the only one whose mobile phone had never broken. And he said, everyone else's phone's broken, mummy. It's all fallen out of their pockets when they go in their bike. And I said, yeah, I know. They just wear tracksuit bottoms and their phones fall out. He said, my phone falls out too. And I went, oh, that's funny. It never breaks, does it? And he goes, no. He said, I put a hacker around it. And I said, what's that? And he said, I just put a spell around my phone. I went, okay, that's cool. And it doesn't. He's never, ever broken his phone because he believes it will never break. What you believe, what you think is so powerful, but he believes it so much that he feels it. So like, it's just, when you're so certain about something that can't help but come true. I don't know what time we've got left, Kevin. I can talk about these dragons and how they work with me and everything. It's just, let me know.
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes left, so keep sharing. Or did you want to do a meditation or something you mentioned?
It wasn't so much of a meditation, but it was more of bringing you into your center so that you could actually feel how much the dragons would love you. Would you like to feel that? So you're the one who's going to feel it, but what I'll do is I'll just kind of take you there as they take me. So if you're happy to do that, it's actually very quick. No highfalutin in and out, Okay, cool.
Sounds good.
All I'm going to ask you to do is concentrate on your own breathing. You don't have to do anything fancy. So you're just breathing in and out. And it's easier if you close your eyes so that you can bring your attention on the inside of your body. Bring your attention on the inside of your body. Empty your head, all the things you're thinking, all the narration, all the lists of things to do, and bring all of that down into your heart center. Your heart can take care of that. So in fact, in your head, there's nothing going on. Now feel your heart beating. Be on the inside of your body. No external distractions. You're all on the inside of your body. Notice your breath coming all the way up to your throat. And then when you turn, when the breath starts needing to go out, there's like a little flap that opens. So just notice that little flap on your up breath and then open it and then let the breath all the way out. And as soon as it's empty and you want to breathe in, there's a little flap as well that lets you breathe in. All of this is going on in the inside of your body automatically. And then you're top of the breath and then you want to breathe out again. So imagine this line running inside your body, the line of your breath. And as you're noticing that, you'll notice that there's a light cord on the inside of your body. And that light cord runs all the way up your spine, all the way up the top of your head, and all the way up into the cosmic, all the way up into the galaxies. And it kind of loops up there. And it spreads out, and you're tethered up in the heavens, up in the galaxies and in the cosmos. And then the energy from the cosmos can go down that harp string right the way through you as a conduit, right the way down through you into the earth, through the earth, all the earth and rock strata, into the center of the earth where you are living. And you again can just tether yourself around a big rock or wherever you want to, and just know that you're tethered. The string, the cord is tight. You are safe. You are supported on this information line that goes through you and up to the heavens, and then through you and then down to the earth. And this is where you are. And this is where you live. Keep feeling your heart beating. Keep feeling the information rise up through that on your in-breath, all the way up into the heavens and into the skies and into the galaxies, and then down. Maybe a quick spiral in your core of your body, and then down with all the information down into the earth. Now I want you to imagine something that you feel love about, or love with, or love from. And feel the feeling in your heart of feeling that love. Now it could be a person, it could be a pet, it could be an imaginary puppy. Just have that as arm's reach or in your arms like a puppy, something innocent. And just feel the effect that it has on your heart. Feel your heart growing or pumping or bouncing, whatever it feels like for you. And then seeing as we were talking about sovereign, the dragon for your soul, to connect you with your soul, just ask right now, soul, Please show me how much you love me. And feel the feeling that you have within your heart. Is it different to how you felt about the puppy or the pet? And you can ask this as many times as you want. Please show me how much you love me, my soul. And now the dragons want to come in, and the dragons want to show you how much they love you and respect you and honor you for being here at this time. So you can ask, please show me in a feeling how much you love me. Please show me how much you love me. And maybe you'll have a different sensation. And you can ask that as many times as you like to alter your frequency, to get into the feeling of more expanded love, and to know how much you are supported and cherished and honored. Keeping that feeling inside your body that you can call on at any time. You can bring yourself back to your breath, seeing it looping on the inside of you. Breathing deeply in and out. You can feel your heart beating. And then just to soften the experience, you can rub your hands together, make them nice and warm, and you can put them over your eyes as you come out of this space. Feeling soothed, remembering that you are extraordinary, remembering that you are brilliant, remembering that you are soul, remembering that you are spirit, remembering that you are attached to the heavens and the earth, remembering that you are incredible, remembering that you are powerful and so loved. And then when you're ready, and only when you're ready, bring yourself back. And thank the dragons. And almost make a promise that you will actually get in touch with the dragons more often. And look for signs for them around where you live. And feel them. Feel how they make you feel on the inside. If anyone has any questions for my dragons, please let me know, and I shall you can talk out loud, and in the meantime, I'll scan through the chat. Okay, yes, Akara, writing a new chapter of our life. Absolutely, brilliant. I'm doing this right now with a man I love, been with for over 20 years, yes. Just because you have somebody in your life in a relationship, it doesn't mean that you can't change that relationship for the better just by changing your thoughts. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Brilliant. I have gone back and changed past traumas, rewritten the stories. Healing was amazing. Yeah. I've also rebirthed my boys, seeing as they were both not natural births and they wanted them to be. So I've gone back and done that. Yes. Just to introduce you very, very quickly to the deck of cards and how they came about. So I was asked to make this deck of cards, and when they spoke to me originally, it was always their eyes that I could see, and then eventually I saw the whole of them. But they wanted their eyes to be depicted as who they were. So, you know, Sovereign was a really rich purple dragon. Bloom was a pink dragon, but, you know, she was made of a blossom. She was made up of petals, you know, and Raphael was a silver dragon. He was kind of very, very, very shiny. And I was like, how on earth am I gonna do this? Come on, how am I gonna do this? You need to show me how. So I'd been studying and looking to see who might be good artists out there, and there are some incredible artists for dragons, and I was looking at the eyes, and so I started with the way I do it, and I said, okay, I'm gonna ask. So I put it in a bubble, and I said, is it this artist that you want me to ask to draw the dragon eyes? No. Okay. So is it this artist that you want me to call? And no, not that one. Oh, okay. Is it this one? And they were like, Fiona, stop looking, we'll show you. I said, well, is it this one? No. I said, okay, well, fourth option, it's somebody I've not met yet, somebody I don't know, got no idea how. Yes. I said, well, come on then, now where are they? How do I find them? And they gave me the feeling of just keep looking straight ahead. I'm just like, I've been trying to do this for months, you know, like I still can't find this artist that you want. So, but this was the day I'd been asking. By the end of that afternoon, something popped up on my screen, and it was a young guy, because I'd been very, very detailed then of like, well, who do you want to work with then, Fiona? So that this was their question to me. Who do you want to work with? I want a young guy, probably a teenager, very good artist, blah, 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 and made the whole list. Anyway, so this artist popped up, and I went, oh, that's strange. And I said, well, he does portraits, he copies portraits. I said, but he does do the eyes rather well. Do you want me to yes, I've just got like this, yes, contact him and, you know, talk to him. I was like, oh my God, he's French, I'm gonna have to translate everything and then put it in a message. Anyway, I did that, but it was very easy to get on with him. And his first one that he did for me was he did the eye of the Seraphina. And he said, if that's suitable, then I can make some more. I was like, okay, but I've got 8 dragons. And I said, each of them has a different emotion. So each pupil has to be different as well. So this took a little bit of explaining. And I was like terrified that the price was going to be like horrendous. But in my description that he was be a young guy and his prices would be very, very reasonable. And he was just a joy to work with. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. I found the artist who would depict the dragon's eyes the way that you wanted them to be depicted. So they chose the artist of the cards. And so with the cards, there is like all these messages that come through. You can't see that. There we go. There's the messages. And some of them are rather long because they want you to understand and get into the feeling of them. But that's them being your cosmic parent. That's them saying, pick a card when something's going on or you want to understand something, and we'll respond. So somebody was saying here that, you know, they pick Raphael a lot. I did a pull through from the group, and oh my God, the message was spot on. And this is what, you know, I didn't write the cards. I didn't create the cards. I just did it on Earth on behalf of the dragons. So when you pick a card, it's your card. It does resonate with you. It brings something up for you, and you can kind of go, yep, that's the way I was feeling. That's what I was doing. So that's how they work. Anybody got any questions? Change the thoughts means change the reality. Change yourself, change your surrounding. Exactly.
Fiona,
yes.
I wrote them down. It's like, I don't. Number 1, Sovereign. Number 2, Tara. Number 3, Raphael. Number 4, Luna May. Number 5, Seraphina. Number 6, Bloom. Number 7, Ceremony. Number 8, Utopia.
Yeah, the first one is Seraphina.
Oh, the first one is Seraphina. Okay, not Sovereign. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, they are part of the way that you ascend. So know what you want, change what you're thinking, put in a lot of detail, add some feelings in there, which is lunar ray, really get into the sovereign, really understand who you are, then have fun with it, expand the feelings, be unstoppable, which is bloom, and then celebrate how far you've come and how much you've let go of. And then utopia, which is the other side of the rainbow, is you're flying. You got it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
My pleasure.
So Fiona, where do we buy these cards? I'm sure everyone wants some now.
The cards, they're being printed in the States because they're being printed as you go, but I do have them on my website and I order them in batch. So at some point I'll have my own Amazon page and everything. So they're only just being printed this year. So they were printed just at the time when we did the summit. So they're all very new, and but I've been working with them for probably about a year and a half now in their format, but just using different eyes. But so yes, they're on my website, and I think I gave you the link for that, didn't I, Kevin?
Yeah, I'll post the links as we've got to here.
And I'm also doing a challenge in November about how you change the story in your head. It's more to do with your inner wealth story, but it can be to do with anything. And I really take you through the whole process of changing the story in your head. Does anybody else want to know anything else? Anything more juicy? This is the new way of living, by the way. This is the new human. They just keep reminding me to say that. This is just you being the new human. You don't settle for potluck or mediocre. You kind of go, no, nobody's going to tell me what I can and can't have. I'm the powerful one. I can create it. One of the cards in the deck, one of the messages that came through was that witches, warlocks, high priestesses, they did those kind of magical things because they just didn't believe that they couldn't. Nobody told them that they couldn't. But we've been through a whole era of being told of what we can and can't do. So we're listening to other people about our health. We're listening to other people about our ability to work, our ability for all sorts of different things. So take that back into your own hands, and you are powerful. And, you know, when we awaken to all of that, it's not like a poof, everything's fine now, everything's happy, everything's good. It takes some extraordinary navigating to live in this way, to live in the higher frequencies, to live in the different colors of energies. It's not, oh gosh, okay, I've done it now, I can relax. It's every single day is being reminded of who you are. Is that making sense?
It does. It makes complete sense. Yeah, I like the fact you said keep asking.
Oh, so they often laugh and say you can ask 100 times a day. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's that humanness that thinks, oh, I've already asked 3 or 4 times. Maybe I should stop now. Yeah. So
it's the same as when I was trying to create this house. I thought, oh my God, I've just been really greedy this time. Like I've been so specific about what I'm asking for, which is Raphael, but I put a lot of detail in there. I mean, still not probably nearly enough that they, you know, doesn't matter whether you're asking for something small or big.
Yeah.
Keep asking. And it's the quality of the questions and the way that you ask which gets you the information that you're seeking.
Beautiful. Well, we're a few minutes past now, so I think to sort of close this now. Thank everyone for their time. It's beautiful seeing everyone. It's beautiful. Jason, thank you very much. Yours transmission and everything. That was absolutely gorgeous. And Fiona, thank you. I now understand your cards much deeper, and I'm definitely going to have to get a set now and connect to each of those and transition through. It's beautiful seeing everyone. These videos will be posted as soon as I can tomorrow on the portal and on YouTube and Westfet, and also I'll put them in the Facebook group. And then next in November we've got Dina's going to be with us and Nidia. So 2 more speakers. And as I said before, please if you want to come on and speak for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 3 hours, let us know. Come and share and get your voice out there. And like Jason and Fiona have here today, and many others will. So it's beautiful seeing you all. I wish you a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are, whatever time you are. So I'll see you all soon. There you go, everyone. Bye.